So thank you everybody for being here on International Women's Day and being connected into the intergalactic activation of the feminine. So I was called by the Intergalactic Federation to bring in some of the new coding that relates to the feminine empowerment and our presence here. And also sharing today will be Ashtara, who I will introduce in a moment. My name is Grace Ambrook, for some of you who haven't met me before or worked with me before. So my name is Grace Ambrook. I'm a transition and transformation mentor. I am an avid activator and very much involved in the New Earth activations in all aspects of life, but particularly as it relates to the presence of women in business, because that is a massive force for transition as we enter the New Earth. So, and Ashtara is joining me today. She is a beautiful being, an astrologer, a spiritual scientist, and a cosmic scribe. And so the combination of the new and the old today, I believe, will really make a huge contribution to all of us who are clearly aware that if you're attending an intergalactic feminine activation, that we're not here alone, and there are lots of other beings and awarenesses that do not come from just the earth. I love the earth, nothing wrong with the earth, we're here. But there are also other energies that we can be aware of to support and facilitate our greatest presence. Before I introduce Ashtara, I also just want to acknowledge that the theme that the International Women's Day has chosen for this year is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. And so we are riding that wave because there is an energetic acknowledgement of that going on around the earth. And so we will be riding that wave today. The way that we're going to run today is I'm going to bring through what I've been asked to bring through with connection to the Mantarans, which is from Orion, and also from the great creator, which is Laniakea. I can never pronounce her beautiful Hawaiian name correctly. Been working with her for a couple of years. I always stumble over it. And then Ashtara will be sharing her contribution, and then we'll open it up at the end for any comments, sharings, or questions. Ashtara, would you like to say hello to everybody and introduce yourself, please?
Hello, everybody. It's lovely to meet you. Some I can see and some I can't see. That may be my computer, may not be, but welcome. And I'm so happy to be here on this rather auspicious day. And what I decided to do before I came on was to pick a card, which I'm sure all of you do. And the deck I chose was the Isis card, because Isis is has been one of the teachers for Mary Magdalene, and I work with Mary Magdalene quite a lot. And seeing it's Feminine Women's Day, I thought, okay, I'll add to that. And so the interesting, of course, this is part of Grace's theme as well. I picked the key of life. I'm just going to read a little tiny bit of that. This is the cross that's held in the hand of Isis, and she says to everyone, because this is for everyone, the mystery is opening to you now. The ankh portends new life being born through you now. It could be a creative sense, a physical sense, like a real birth, or in terms of health, or a new project that needs to be created in service to humanity. And this is what Grace has done. The new life being born in whatever form will enrich your life bringing you more into wholeness and fulfillment. All you have to do is let it happen. So I thought that would be a very nice card to share with you as an opening. Now, as Grace said, I'm an astrologer, but I've done that for 35 years. And I've moved on to more cosmology and galactic stuff. And that's what I've written about, because I've been taken up many times to different star systems, into the galaxies. And I've also brought through a system, a galactic system of light, a programming center of light to aid humanity in this time. So I'm a writer, written about 11 books. My website is simply my name, ashtara.com. You might be interested in going to that. What's my offering today? With Grace, we had a chat about it. And because I work very closely with my spiritual guides who change over the years, as a cosmic scribe, I thought I would invoke them into the group today with your permission. So I work with the Arcturians, and I work with this is currently, the Arcturians are my overarching light bearers, and they're like a puppet master, and they choose whichever other light beings I'm to work with. So currently it's Mary Magdalene. She's come back into my life. I wrote a book about her in about 2010 or 14 or something like that, because she had me go to Israel on the 1st of the 1st, 2010, to walk her escape trail from Israel. So, and then a book followed with that. So, and then I didn't hear from her for years. And so she's come back. And so whatever that purpose is will be revealed. And I'm also currently working with Sedna. You may or may not know about Sedna, but she's a new discovery to our astronomers into our solar system. And her orbit is very huge. It's 11,000 years. And so what happened 11,000 years and what's happening now as she comes into our consciousness. So she's a very powerful influence, and I've just finished doing a course on Sedna, based mostly on what she has to say to me, as I'm her scribe. And so I thought, with your permission and with Grace's, that I would invoke the Arcturians, Mary Magdalene and Sedna, to come into the group today. Is that okay?
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Okay, so if you'd like to close your eyes for just a moment, or two or three, and take a few deep breaths, and bring yourselves deep into your heart, and feel into your heart. Feel your heart beating, and intend to allow the divine presence of the divine feminine in the form of Mary Magdalene, or Anna, grandmother of Jesus, or whatever the spiritual or galactic feminine archetype you imagine. Allow her to have presence within you. Allow the love you have for the spiritual feminine to open up inside of you and feel your heart expanding as you do, while I invoke into our presence the Arcturians, Mary Magdalene, and Sedna. Be willing to open up your heart to experience the greater love and greater light that these energies bring to you on this day, celebrated all around the globe. Feel into your heart as you do so. Feel gratitude for the opportunity to experience this love and this light. And as you experience, give out this love and light to whoever you feel you need to give, to share. There is endless amounts of love coming from these energies. And once we share them, we allow the space for more love to enter. And now I'll hand over to Grace for a few moments so that she can take you into the next step of her presentation. Thank you for being open. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashtara. That is a beautiful opening. And I think with that, what would be really lovely for us all is to have a visual connection to the Arcturians, to Sedna, and to the two energies that I'm going to be sharing with you today, the Lana Akar, Lana Akia. Oh my God, I bumble over this because the name that's been given is not quite 100% what she's asking for. So I'm adjusting the tonal frequencies. So I'm not completely stupid. And the Mintakans, which is part of the Orion belt. And I think if we can just have a visual of these, it will embrace our greater receptivity to some of the new coding that's coming up. And the new code, remembering that the new coding sits with and plays with all that beautiful beings like Mary Magdalene planted the seeds for all these eons ago. And so as we bring in these beautiful awarenesses and energies at the same time, we're building upon what Sedna brought. And I think it's interesting that Sedna is very watery. The Mintakans are also very, very watery. Their energy is like through the water. You can see kilometers through the water. That's how clear their energy is. And this is the clarity of energy that's being invited for us to hold as the feminine, to hold a clarity of feminine energy that is truly embodied in the magic of life, as opposed to the logic of life. We're actually moving out of them even perceiving them as opposite forces, but this clarity actually allows us to embrace all of these things in a new way of harmonization So let me share the screen. It just take me a little minute to get it organized. And so she's a supercluster of which the Milky Way is one of the clusters. She's a massive energy field, something like 100 gazillion times bigger than the mass of the sun. And here we are, I think we're Milky Way's down around about in here somewhere, in this massive supercluster that has all of these possibilities in her, with her. And it's like I'm sure you notice that it looks very much like networks in the body as well. And you can see the similarity there. So this energy is coming through and speaking and sharing with us today, particularly around a major point where the feminine energy has been deferring her power. So look at the power in this look at the power in this image, right? We are this. We're not deferring our energy anywhere as we enable ourselves to be truer and truer to the feminine prowess. Mintaka is part of Orion's belt, and there's, again, as I said, she's very watery. There are some references that say that the actual presence of her has moved into another dimension, and yet at the same time there is no separation in Mintakan or in Mintaka. So there is only infinite energy, and she's also an expert at harmonization. She also knows a lot about war and separation and differences. And she knows a lot about those because she's an expert at harmonization. And this is part of the energy that we're in, where we're moving out of polarity and right and wrong and war and peace, and we're moving into how do we harmonize all of these expressions of the infinite in a way that is a greater and greater representation of the benevolence of creation. And of course, the feminine energy, like, creation energy, not first and foremost, that's not true, but it's very powerful part of the feminine aspect. Oh, too fast. This is an artist representation of Arcturus, and I too work with the Arcturians a lot. I have them very busy in a court case at the moment with the woman I'm working with, where there's such an extraordinary energy. It's an artist representation, and I think when we allow ourselves to drop into this image, you can feel not only the vibrancy, but the infinite expression. It's like just extraordinary energy. And this is an image of Sedna. And when I first looked at this, my first response was infinite love and absolute inclusion. There was, to me, there was no judgment in Sedna. And I look forward to Ashtara sharing more later on in the call. But I think that will enhance our experience of what we do today. So let me just get myself back on screen and organized. If anybody at any stage would like to share their sensation of what is going on, feel free to use the chat and we'll open it up at the end for other comments. But if you feel the desire to share, then you're more than welcome to. So Laniakea, the name has been given to her by the Hawaiians, and it means immense heaven. She's also known as the Great Creator. In the work that I've done with her over the years, she's very much about the heart. And today, and Ashtara has already opened our heart, and there is an invitation here to tune into her energy, to be able to open the heart even more. And as we open the heart, her gift to us today is to start to break down and release any of the programming and attachments we have to using conformity rather than allowing the presence of our superpowers and our super magic to be the energy that is guiding our choices and decisions. So we're going to be beginning to really wash away, because we have the Mintakans working with us. We have all of this water element working with us. So we're going to be doing a lot of washing away today. Sometimes we do a lot with fire, but today we're going to do a lot of washing away. And because in this energy of washing away our requirement to conform, to be safe, and in many ways, we've been deferring our power as the feminine, our power to create. We've been deferring that with an unconscious or conscious requirement to conform, thinking that conformity was the best way to present ourselves. And so historically, there's some relevance and some truth in that. The thing is, ladies, is that this new plasma energy that is reaching the planet is not about conformity. That has brought us to here. Blessings, gratitude, neither right nor wrong. But now we have this much more heart-filled capacity, and as we're going today, particularly from the heart, your heart is being activated to open up to your greater awareness of what it is that you create with and you create from. Because it's not what we think we have to do in order to be who we be. This is activating up today as we're writing that invest in women, really meaning invest in yourself as a woman. Invest in women and accelerate your progress. Invest in the coding that is within you. Laniaka, used to navigate originally, well, still, no doubt. Utilizing our hearts to navigate our world, not our programming about the requirements to conform. There are cycles like Sedna's 11,000 year cycle of re-entering. There are cycles. That's not conforming. That is being the being that knows. And this is an invitation for us to be the being that knows. But you cannot always be the being that knows when you're busy conforming to what is required of you. And so I don't often listen to the radio, but this morning I turned it on because I always follow what the energy is asking me to do. And they were talking about International Women's Day, and they had a gentleman who was very genuine in his expression, and I'm not shit canning, but this is part of the conformity that females have fallen into, right? And this was his celebration, and from his heart. I'm not criticizing this person, but listen. His version was of women completely. My mother, so we are all mothers, whether we have children or don't, so because it's a feminine energy. But my mother, who unconditionally loved me and sacrificed in order that I could be the person I could be. Now, this is not about right or wrong or good or bad. However, we are actually in a time zone where we're starting to break down this savior, sacrifice, and struggle inversion of the feminine ability to create greater. I did say in my emails, I may push a few buttons. So this is not about not being unconditional love, and it's not about not loving fully. It's actually loving fully in a whole way that takes us away from the concept of sacrifice, which has an energy of reduction of who we be, a giving away of who we be, rather than pulling in from Sedna, from Mary Magdalene, from Lanikia, from whoever your guides are, this greater expression, rather than loving costing us. Loving is actually an activator of our greaterness. What if we were doing that? What if we were creating that? What might that create greater for everybody, rather than the conformity of the secondary position of giving something away in order to be powerful? And it can be both, because remembering we're not either or, but we have a predisposition that's not the truth of the feminine prowess and our creative capacities. And so right now we're going to do a clearing of where the first trauma occurred in you as a being, where your first trauma occurred around being separated from the creation codes, and all these creation codes that Sedna brings back, that Mary Magdalene planted on this planet and beyond, like talk about intergalactic multidimensional being. So this is probably why Lanikia is here, because what we're doing here is everywhere in various permutations and combinations. So as an invitation right now for you to beyond your mind and beyond your story, and I'm inviting you to tune into the energy of what it felt like for you the first time that you felt that your connection and your knowing of creation and creation codes, where you felt that that was either not okay or too powerful or not safe. And just connect to that place in your energy fields. If you receive information, fine. I'm encouraging you to not make too much of a story and let the energy work with you. There we go, that's better. And really in this moment, acknowledge that you can only know that there is what might be perceived as a disconnection because you know that something exists, which means you know that these creation codes exist. You've never really been disconnected. You've been distracted, not disconnected. And distraction is simply a choice to use your focus back into these original codes of the feminine capacity to create. Beautiful work, everybody. And really connect in with the love that sits in there, the possibilities. And yes, Sedna, the life force itself. What if you've never been disconnected? What if you've simply been distracted by patterns and imprints of conforming? And allowing all of that to be washed away. And all of the time that we've spent fighting for what we know exists in our being, and we've had to fight so hard for it. Can we let that fight be washed away? And we allow the love to be so brilliantly present in our thoughts, in our hearts, in our minds, in our actions, in our being, in our doing. So real. It's so true. This capacity. Oh, and it's so unknown. It's full of possibilities. We flow the energy. We direct the energy. We create with the energy because we know it's there. There are no questions about its existence. And the gift being gifted to you today is to realize you can access this everywhere, anytime. You don't have to fix the disconnection stories. It was an illusion. It's just a distraction. Refocus. Bring your creation codes into this reality, into your life, this life, your presence, divinely, wisely created to be absolutely on this planet at this time of transition, because you know about the creation codes. You know now about your capacity to contribute into the new earth. Otherwise, you never would have bothered to come here. If you're on this call, if you're listening to the recording, you came here to be practitioners of the transition and the realization of the creation codes that take this planet to her highest, most divine expression ever. She is a living, breathing portal for greater love, always has been. And you know that, that's why you're here. And so this gifting of the expansion of the heart by Lanakea, the clearing by the Mintakans, washing all the stories away, realizing and reconnecting now consciously, subconsciously, in full choice to your absolute oneness with the essence of your divinely unique creation codes. Special little pieces of magic that no one else has brought through onto this planet. You cannot even doubt for a moment the worth of those. Any of that is just the story where you have to conform to what is required and asked of you as a woman. That's all that is. And to be kind to all of us, that programming and imprinting has been going on for a very, very long time. And we are in a state of transition. But we now all have another piece of the puzzle that enables us to be who we be, know what we know, create what we came here to create. And breathe that in and imagine the light and the speed at which your creative chakra is spinning. It's like perhaps if you choose, you can give it permission to spin at a new level of wildness or freedom and love. And that same, perhaps liberating that same freedom for your solar plexus. If there was no fear of your power to create, what would your solar plexus gift you right now? If you ask the Mintakans to wash away all the contraction in your solar plexus around needing to conform, and please don't show the world how powerful and empowering you actually are. Don't be too big. Don't be too wild. Don't be too creative. We can acknowledge all of those stories. They're the distractions that led us to believe we were disconnected from our ability to create wherever we are across the multiverses. One big fat lie. And when you know the truth, you can start to make different choices. That's all. Like, oh, there's that energy to have to conform again. There it is. That's interesting. Okay, creation codes. What do we do with that? What can we out-create with? What do I know about this? Beyond a fight, beyond needing to be right, just following the light of my creation codes. All I'm doing is following the light of my creation codes. That's all we need to do. It's all we need to play with. And anytime you feel fought against or having to fight, call on the Mintakans. They know all about this. They will wash away. Doesn't mean you don't show up. It means you show up more. There's an invitation now to imagine that your beautiful being with your creation codes more alike than they've ever been in this incarnation. I want you to imagine that your feet are like touching Mother Earth. It's like Gaia, Gaia, Gaia. They're a light, just like tapping. Gaia. They're a light. My creation codes are a light. And there's an invitation for you to feel and receive her love and her recognition for you being here. Tune in to how she wants to play with you here. She wants to play with your creation codes. She's curious too. It's an awakening mystery. Creation is not always definition. When you begin a painting, you don't always know what it looks like. So when we have our creations activated, we don't always know what it looks like. I didn't know what this was going to look like. I knew what we were doing, but I didn't know what it's going to look like. I had an idea because we've got Sedna and Arcturians and Minarchans and the Manichaeans. But like, well, put all of that and all of us in a space and look what happens, ladies. Look what gets created. So let her know, let Gaia know that you know that you're here with your creation codes. You know, it's easy to get distracted from them because that's the dynamic of Earth at the moment. That's why you're here. It's not denying that there are not pressures to be distracted. But you know what that is now. It's not a disconnection, it's a distraction. And what about that sense that the Mintakans are talking to me about feeling at home? And what happens if you choose to create the space where you feel at home? Rather than us waiting to feel like we belong here. What if you actually work with the Mintakans and your creation codes to create where you feel most at home on this planet? Can you just imagine the frequency of that? Right now, for me, I have all of this new nerve activations going along my spine. Because we've been looking to how to feel, how to belong here. The truth is, most of us don't actually belong here. We're here as an act of service, of love. We're intergalactic beings. That's why we connect to all of these things. So what if you gave up a sense of needing to belong, but rather chose to actually feel at home here because you're creating what Sedna and Mary Magdalene planted thousands of years ago, that capacity. And whatever image might come to your mind at the moment, just give it some cred, you know. I mean, I just had a very funny image come to my mind. Literally a white picket fence. I've never wanted a white picket fence in my life. Right? But in this energy, it's like a white picket fence. And in the garden, in my garden at the moment, there are these beautiful deep red chrysanthemums, I think. I'm not sure. But they're the most glorious color. And in the image that's coming to me around choosing to create what makes you feel most at home, I'm surrounded by those flowers, by that color. So I'm just going to be utilizing some very quiet sound, because sound moves energy around, for probably a minute or so, and with an invitation for you to connect to what creations of yours do you feel most at home with or in? And let that rise up from within you, and let it be as absurd and crazy or known or unknown as it needs to be in this moment, because the Mintakans are assisting you to let go of the need to belong and allow yourself to create where you feel at home here. Let this energy top up your hearts. Lift the frequencies of your choices. Allow yourself to invest in yourself and accelerate your progress. Allow yourself to invest in yourself as a woman, as the feminine in the masculine, and accelerate progress. We might just take a little pause and let this. I encourage you to move your body a little bit and jiggy around if you need to stand up. Jiggy. Yeah. So there's a lovely little message there from Pia saying she's loving this. So spot on with the feminine, especially with Pia's Italian heritage, the cosmic being feminine. Yes, totally. Feminine in it's like the creation codes are this continuous awakening mystery outside of definition. I wonder, curiosity, innocence. there's still a little more for me to bring through, but if anyone would like to make a comment or ask a question, now would be a good space to do that in. Okay, so as more and more of us are re-establishing our relationship with the creation coding, we also have the capacity to do a little bit of a paradigm shift around so sometimes, no, that's not entirely, that's not where we want to go. As we allow ourselves to be consciously become like we're back in, see, because we weren't disconnected, so I can't, I'm really being urged not to use reconnected because we weren't disconnected, right? So good. Oh, the language is such fun in this realm, isn't it? It's like hilarious. So we've only been distracted from our creation codes. We're no longer distracted. Part of the other power that we're allowing ourselves to embody is our ability to direct energy. So there's a very massive difference between directing energy and projecting energy. So projecting energy is about that needs to be different. That needs to change. Directing energy is being in awareness of as much of what's happening as you can without judgment. And so sometimes it's like, well, there's a gap, there's love missing here. And so the direction of energy is more like an invitation of your creation codes to be present here. The world is full of very unhealthy projections. Direction is in the acknowledgement of your capacity to create frequency in a space you're aware of, with no attachment, expectation. Knowing that you have just placed love here. And I don't mean emotional love, I mean energetic love, I mean Sedna's life force. You've just placed life force here. It doesn't always require you to know what happens next, which is a challenge for us human beings who like to know what's going on. So it's not projecting, it's not fixing. It's bringing a new frequency into this space. Now, I don't know about you. I get pretty excited about that. Oh my goodness, I don't have to fix anything anymore. If I'm bringing a new frequency into a space, wow. And then the Mintakans are saying to me, yes, because when you're connecting with all of the capacities of the universe, then if something needs to be washed away, something gets washed away. If it needs to be burnt, something gets burnt. So our fixing things, and it doesn't mean that things don't change. Things change so much because we are actualizing the creative force into that space. When we're fixing something, it's like we've narrowed it down to this wide, right? So if we're fixing it, when it's fixed, it looks like that. When we're bringing creation codes alive, it can be anything. Somebody might pick up whatever that energy is that you brought into the field and be activated by it and bring out the most brilliant thing you never would have thought of. You know, that's one of the energies around the development of all sorts of different, they're still functioning as systems, but, you know, if you look at the blockchain, if you look at different, you know, crypto things, I mean, there are some, whether you like them or don't like them, whether you're involved with them, whether the risk is too high, any of those things are all relevant to your own choice space. If you look past all of that, though, to me, it's like a really clear indicator where the creative energy, like some of those ideas and systems, are extraordinarily creative. It's like, wow. How clever is that? Like, go figure. And so this is the energy of bringing that into a space. So we are the directors of energy, the weavers of possibilities. We bring in the golden thread that adds so much to a space, to a situation. It's like, oh my God, everything's just changed. Yeah. It's like when you're making an outfit or creating a piece of art and you just add that final little bit of thing. It's like, oh my God, that is perfect now. That's beautiful. What happens if everybody on this call live and who's listening, what happens if you fulfilled being the golden thread in the spaces and places you were walking about and interacting with? Could you put your head on the pillow at the end of the day and feel like, oh, and the fulfillment that we're, you know, so chasing in our life? Yeah, it's not wrong. But what happens if this realization about the connection codes is the thing that gifts you that sense of fulfillment? Would that be fun? Would that be fun to play with? Does it feel like more fun than conforming to what you have to do in order for these things to succeed and to fix this problem? I don't know about you. I know which I prefer. It's a no-brainer for me, but you know. Yes, Pierre, a lot more fun, totally. So the Lena Kaya energy would like to be looked at again. So let's do that. And then I'll open it again for any comments or questions before I hand over to Ashtara for her beautiful contribution today. Let me do this. Oh, hello, Sedna. Oh, just happened to be there. Woohoo! Great attractor, immense heaven, 100 quadrillion times the mass of the sun. A bringer of the ability to break free from conditioning and conformity. It's directed at us because we hold the creation codes. That conformity energy is directed at us because we are the one that hold the creation codes. We therefore know how to direct the energy into universal creation patterns. Go us. Woohoo! Yes. Thank you. I will pass it over. Oh, just let me get myself organized, otherwise it'll go all funny. Hang on a second. What am I doing? Oh, brain, you have to switch back to technology. Where am I? There, 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 and there. So any questions or comments before I hand over to Ashtara? Yes, Shane.
I just wanted to, probably for myself, just to clarify what you said. So could you say that the projected energy is sometimes on an unconscious level, that we're unconsciously projecting energy? So be very observant of more of our thoughts. But the direct energy is more a conscious awareness. If you walk into a space and feel, as you pointed out, something's lacking or love is lacking in that situation, that it's maybe it's an aggressive or high, or it's whatever, and just feel that energy go, oh, I will, with conscious awareness, bring love here. I will bring love into this space. So that might just sort of change the ultimate outcome of that interaction, whatever's going. So you're just quietly doing that sort of, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd make it, like you're totally onto it, absolutely. I'd make a slight adjustment in, we're not actually bringing anything, we're being everything.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
We're being the creation codes. It's in your energy field.
Right. Just being there, your presence, just being with intention of being love. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to intend it, you are
We
love.
already are. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And so with what we've done today is activated up this energy within you.
Okay.
Brought it into your awareness. And, you know, I've been working with energy and energy constructs for decades. So one of the gifts that I'm more than happy to share is to actually move the energy around as we do this. So it's alive in your nervous system, in your job, sorry, in your nervous system and in your energetic systems. So when your energies run differently and you match it with new awareness cognitively and psychologically, you can be a different being in your life, should you choose. And that's why I just fine-tuned a little bit of that, because it's like being is the new doing.
Yeah.
I'm aware of something in this space. I'm also aware that I am creation codes. So I will be in this space. And if you're drawn to contribute something, say something, it comes from that infinite love, the life force. And the other thing that I would expand up in all of our awarenesses is that love is not the emotion. Love is the life force. Love is the infinite possibilities.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you for the question. That's a ripper. Anybody else? Lovely. Ashtara?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's something that's been running in on my mind pretty well the whole way through. And so I must speak it. And it's quite simple. It's a bit scientific, but to me, it makes a lot of sense and a lot of grounding. within each of us, we have approximately 60 trillion cells. Each cell in the human body, every single one, contains the God particle. That has been proven by science. They don't call it that. They can call it all sorts of other things. But Greg Brayton, I don't know whether you know of him, he's a scientist. He refers it, he's a spiritual scientist. He refers to it as the God particle. So we are always connected to the one source of love. And I just felt that was important to share that and to say that, because it fits in completely with what Grace was saying. And so it's just a practical thing that once we can embrace it and integrate it completely, not just within our heads, within our entire bodies. And that one God particle in the 60 trillion cells is the creative force. And so when I speak of love, I speak of divine love, love for the creative force within us. The terminology is different to Grace, still the same thing. To love ourselves, to love the divine creative force within us. And through that being love, our own creations can manifest. And we may not know what they are, but when we follow the path of the heart, oh, that sounds fabulous to do, like Grace followed the path of her heart to do this today. She followed it, and look at the wonder that she's created. So we can all do this when we follow the path of the heart, the joy and the love that comes from the creative impulse. It's a different way to live. It's a beautiful way to live. It takes trust and it takes faith. Faith in your own connection to your creative codes. That's about all I'd like to say. I can offer a Thanksgiving prayer. I would like to do that, but I just felt it was important to say that because it's been with me pretty well the whole of the session. So
yeah, no, thank you. And it is the you know, to add on to that too, I think what you're bringing in, Ashtara, is that the body is not separate from everything that we're talking about. It is a divine representation of exactly what we're talking about, of the creation codes. You know, from a personal perspective, I think the body is way past even awesome. Like, it's how it functions.
to me, it's the barometer of the soul.
Yeah, yeah.
It's simply the barometer of our soul.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a gift. It is a gift from Gaia. So, you know, we're infinite beings, souls. And we're going, oh, okay, time to pop down on Earth. You know, we're popping down on other places as well. Pop down on Earth. And then Gaia goes, oh, here comes Catherine, Deborah, all of us. Goes, oh, ooh, let's give that being a body. and little spoomy, little eggy come together. The body begins. But it's such a gift from Gaia. My creation at its most beautiful. As you say, all of those cells, all with that. I love Greg Braden's work. And he and Nassim Haramein did a series a couple of years ago, which is just mind-boggling. And they, they were talking about, the heart as well. And I've been, sharing for years that the heart is the landing platform for the soul. Sends more messages every day to the brain than the brain does to the heart. It's our connectivity field, which is why Lanakea was here today. It's that image. It's like expanded connection. I'm going to link that back to the theme of today, which is riding the waves around the universe, is invest in women, which I keep coming back to, is like invest in yourself as a woman and accelerate your progress. As we choose to love and acknowledge and receive and honor the creation, walking creation codes that we are, that is the trigger for accelerated progress. Waiting for external validation, and we all love it, nothing wrong with it. It's not one or the other. It's not polarity, but it's inside out, not outside in. That's not new, but it just feels like it's important as we allow these creation codes to begin to inform your choices and your contribution. So I have some questions that I will send with the recording, and I'd encourage you to use them. They're specifically designed to actually continue to open up the energy. So because now that you've been introduced to the idea of where we're conformed and where we're actually coming from our creation codes, it will start to run, your awareness will start to run, like you'll become more and more aware of it. So those questions, when you get pushed up against things, where am I conforming right now? Unconsciously, because these are habits, right? And then beyond judgment, what am I aware of that creates greater? So if you, as I said, I'll send those out with the recording, because I think we're all full up at the moment. But I would encourage you to utilize them. That's why we have tools, and encourage them to utilize to continue to actually ride this wave of greater connection to, because this is what the new earth is actually all about. Later on this year, I'll be doing some work with around new earth entrepreneurship for those of us in business as well. And so if you'd like to be involved with that, please drop me a line and I'll keep you informed of that. And I think from there we are actually pretty almost complete, I would think. Sorry, Ashtara, did you say that you wanted to contribute something more, or?
We'd just like to do a Thanksgiving prayer.
Yeah, okay. Beautiful.
That will.
Yes, I think just let me see if there's anything else from my... Oh, I know what I was going to do. That's it. put my little marketing hat back on for a moment and or broadcasting. I'm popping in the chat Ashtara's website, my website, and for those of you who've come in, not through my direct email list, if you'd like to receive more awareness and more emails from me, then if you send me an email at connect@graceambrook.com, I will pop you on my list. So that's information there for you if you'd like to copy and paste that into your own records so that we can stay in touch. I have a feeling we'll be doing a couple of these a year. So if you want to be in that loop, just let me know. And thank you, Ashtara. If you would like to do your Thanksgiving, and that will be our close when Ashtara is finished.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I really, really, and thank you, all the beautiful beings. I don't know about you, but I've got a pretty full room here. Yes, thank you so much.
So let's just close our eyes and drop into our heart and feel how it may have been expanded through this hour we've spent together. And give thanks for the beings of light who have been with us today. Give thanks for your physical companions and for Grace and for her inspiration to create this wonderful session. Give thanks to your higher self for guiding you to come to this session. Give thanks to Gaia, our beloved Mother Earth, who provides all we need to survive and to thrive, if we so choose, on this precious planet. Give thanks to the sun for being the symbol that transfers light to us every day, without whom we would not be here. Give thanks to Setna, who looks after the waterways, the lakes, the rivers, and the seas of our precious planet, and is rather concerned about what we do as a collective human race to our waterways. Give thanks to her for returning to remind us of ways that we can focus on creativity rather than on destruction. Give thanks to Mary Magdalene and Yeshua and members of their family who 2,000 years ago purposefully transferred into our planet the codes of light and of creativity that they knew would be activated during the age of light, which is the age of Aquarius, the age we're in. Give thanks to the Arcturians and all the guides in our higher realms who have become more active in this century, because they wish to see us ascend into a higher frequency of light and are doing whatever they can to reach people through those who have hearts open and minds open. Give thanks for the joy of living on this precious planet, the joy of life, and the joy of choice. Give thanks to our precious body. Just think of the intricate design, the amazing design of our bodies. How blessed are we? Our bodies house our soul and our spirit. We can choose to look after our bodies or not. We have the choice. Give thanks for our union today. The love that Grace and I and all of you have shared. And you may, at this point in time, wish to make a commitment to yourself. And as you do so, feel into your heart and know that that commitment to yourself and to your own full of creativity will emerge through love. And as a gesture to express the honoring of yourself and your own creative codes within you, let us give ourselves a great big hug. Big, 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 big hug.
Yes.
And let us say goodbye, because it's been a lovely session, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And Grace, thank you for asking me to come and share with you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Much love. Bye-bye for now.
Bye now. Bye.